Hello everyone, welcome to Clovercraft, an SMP where basically there are a whole bunch of different players from all around the world and we're all just playing Minecraft together. I've already set up a little campsite around here and this is going to be my home base for my archaeological digs because I have learned that there was an ancient civilization buried deep in that forest and I'm going to try and see if I can uncover the ruins throughout the course of the season. I joined midway through the season, which is why a lot of people already have bases and things set up. But hopefully, during the time that the season continues running, I'll also be able to make some pretty cool stuff and catch up to everyone else. First though, a little tour of my campsite. I've got my two dogs right here, a little fire pit, and this is my work area, where I'm hoping to uncover the secrets of the civilization. I've got my donkey, Cerberus, and some chickens here, which will serve as a food source. I have my little tent set up right here with some additional storage. And as the season continues, I'm going to try and see what I can learn about the civilization that used to live in this very area. However, that is going to require some funds, which I don't currently have, so I've come up with the idea to start a shop. During my excavations, I have found a whole bunch of strange preserved heads from things that used to live in the area. So I'm going to try to sell them. I'm not sure yet whether the shop will be a big success, but it will be a great way to earn a few diamonds so that I can make sure I have the resources I need for my expedition. Before I figure out what I want to build, I need to make sure I know where I'm going to build it. So let's head over to the shopping district and check out what land there still is available. This is the shopping district, so I need to find a place to build my store that fits within this area, which shouldn't be too difficult. I really like the idea of having the store in this area so that it's kind of surrounded by a waterfall behind it. So let's go ahead and start planning. So in between clips, I actually ended up just building the entire shop, but I think it turned out pretty cute. We've got some moss hiding frog lights, a little staircase up the hill, and a nice little bridge over a small pond. And I think that this area is pretty nice. I'll probably still do some tweaks later on, but I'm happy with it for now. Now, this is a pretty decent sized building, and I only have 3 chests in here right now. So what I'm thinking is anything else that I want to sell, I will probably have just along these walls. I don't know yet what I would add, but I do think that this is a lot of space for not that much stock. However, I think it turned out pretty cute, and it definitely gave me a bit of an idea of how I want to go about building the rest of my base later on for this season. For now though, it's actually time to head back over to my base so that I can clear out an area for me to build in. I think the next area that I'd like to try excavating is the rest of this island. As I uncover more of this civilization, I'm going to need a lot more space for storage, and this little campsite is very cute, but it's not quite going to cut it for all of the chests that I'm going to need for everything that I find. So let's get started. And now that I've cleared this all up, it's time to start terraforming and making it look a little bit nicer. I want to make sure that all, or at least most of the edges, are beach with some sandstone, maybe even some oak and birch logs to kind of give the effect of wet sand. And when I got to this island, there were these little puddles, so I'm thinking of making just a small pond so that I have some fresh water in addition to all the salt water that's surrounding the area. However, I think that would be a really fun project to do on stream, so I'm actually going to leave that for now. Before we get too deep into the expedition, I should probably explain a little bit about the civilization that I'm going to be trying to uncover. Legend has it that these creatures got visions and all kinds of knowledge that we no longer have through their dreams. So they worshipped the moon and basically kept to themselves so that they wouldn't be disturbed while they were sleeping. Nobody knows what happened to them, but I'm on a mission to try and uncover all of the lost knowledge that they had. It's definitely going to be a really long process, though, and hopefully it will provide some interesting lore during the season. In the shopping district, there is an apartment complex built by Cherry, and I am very interested in renting one. It's a great location, close to all of the shops, and also I just think it would be fun to have sort of a second mini base. So we're going to drop 16 iron ingots, and it looks like either unit on the third floor is available. There we go. And before I write my name in the book, I want to make sure I know which one I would like to choose. So it's either 3A or 3B. This one is pretty cute. So is this one. I think that we will go with 3B. I'd like to be able to actually look out the windows without having to jump, so I think that I will probably add up a little bit of a platform along this wall. For lore purposes, I imagine that this campsite is where I am when I'm actively exploring and spending a few days at a time searching through the ruins. However, I live closer to the city when I want to check up on my shop or just get a break from sleeping outside in a tent. So I'm going to add just a little accent all along through here. It might make the space feel a bit more cramped, but I think it's still something we can work with. And I can see the view much better now. These rock lights are pretty, but it's a little awkward with just 5 of them here and then the design not continuing. So I think I am actually going to cover them with some trapdoors, and this will also add a little bit of texture to the wall and some depth. There we go, that's a little better. I think that a painting on top of each window would go really nicely. I definitely should have brought my axe for this. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm honestly not sure about that placement. But I'll leave it for a little while longer and see if my feelings change. Some chiseled bookshelves are a nice addition. I think that my character would keep all of her notes and references and textbooks and things in this room, since if they were outside the campsite, they could get damaged pretty easily. And for authenticity, I will actually be writing a few little Minecraft books about the lore of the civilization as I reveal it throughout the season, and so gradually we'll see this bookshelf fill up. For now though, I've just got a couple empty ones. And of course, we are going to be doing more copper lanterns, just like at my base. Here we go, nice and bright. I imagine these are flowers that grow in the area, and so I'm studying them to kind of see if any of the civilization's magic had any lasting effect on them. Of course, in reality, I'm just picking my favorite Minecraft flowers, but for the lore, we'll say that they are maybe infused with a little bit of leftover magic from growing in such a potently magical area. Let's add in some more shelves on this side. I'd really like to add some mini blocks to the shelves, but that is something that we'll have to wait until I actually have a few, because so far I haven't really managed to encounter many wandering traders. I think a nice large painting above the bed would be really good. That's a good one, I think. I also want to make sure that there are a lot of references to the expedition, so I'm going to add a few item frames showing maps of the area around the campsite, and even some more base progress later on. This is definitely the most decorated wall, but I think that it all goes together. It kind of draws your eye in this very nice sort of curved shape. I haven't done the maps yet, but as soon as I go back to my base, I will get them ready so that they can go in these frames here. I'm not really sure what I want to do on this wall. I don't want anything that will interfere with me walking around because I really want to make sure that the windows are accessible. It needs to be a place where I can actually imagine someone would be able to go and look through these windows, check the weather, admire the views, things like that. So I want to make sure that I keep this bottom layer of blocks free. I might add some banners. I think that would be a good use of the space, and it could definitely add a lot more bright colors to kind of liven the place up. These are all some gorgeous designs. I'm not sure yet whether I want to pick something that's lore related. I think these are beets. They're very cute, whatever they are. Although in this direction it looks like a rose, so I'm not sure. I definitely want a Clovercraft banner. I'm not really sure whether I want the white or the pink background. I think the white has a little more contrast. There we go. But I do still have some more space. Let's go with the Pride banner. It is June after all, at least when I'm recording this. I think we'll go with this one. Let's do the Pride banner here, this one over here, and my Clover banner can go right above the door. I think I'll actually put it one block lower. There we go. The wall is still a little bit bare, but I'm not really sure yet what I can put here that won't be very intrusive. You know, I hadn't considered. I could also just put stairs here and not have the extra block. Do I like that? It leaves more floor space. Yeah, I think that might actually be the way to go. So, time to restructure the entire room. Do chiseled bookshelves not drop anything? Maybe it needs silk touch. Huh. Well, I think the bookshelf will be more fitting over here. And that way I have a little more space for a kitchenette on this side. Furnace here. A temporary countertop. Perhaps the crafting table makes more sense here. Maybe even another furnace. I'm really not sure. This is cute for now, though. And ender chest at the end here. That's not too bad. Not really sure how I want to divide this. Another idea. Perhaps just this section is raised up, so then I can put the bed here. And then I can have my dining area in the middle. It can also double as sort of a work table for when I'm reading all of my books and things. There we go. Imagine we've got one chair on this side and one chair over here. Maybe we can also have a little rug in this section. I might go with brown just because I have some leaf litter, and I saw if you put leaf litter on the edges of a carpet, it makes it look kind of like it has tassels. So some brown carpet and a brown bed. There isn't much space for a carpet in here, so I might just do in this area. Sort of like one of those rugs that they usually put down in hallways. This is just so cute. I love it. And here we go. Not quite finished, but it's pretty cute for now. So, there we go. I think that this has been a very productive first episode. I've started my new base, explained some of the storyline that we're going to be going for this season, and even began renting an apartment so that I'm not spending the entire time living outdoors. Next episode, we're going to get started on building the ruins and explaining a little bit more about the lore of this civilization. For now, goodbye everyone!